Well, Selena she had an aura of attracting you to her.
The death of Selena Quintanilla still hurts millions of people around the world, even though it's been almost 30 years. Fans loved the beloved Queen of Tejano music because she made them happy whenever she sang. When news of her disappearance came out in 1995, it shocked everyone. After 30 years, Selena's husband has finally decided to speak out, giving us new information about what we already know about her. What did he say? What did he say that was hidden? Come with us as we look into how Selena Quintanilla died 30 years ago. The world is shocked as her husband breaks the silence. The world met Selena Quintanilla for the first time on April 16, 1971, at Freeport Community Hospital in Freeport, Texas. Born to Marcela Ofelia Quintanilla, a Mexican-American woman with some Cherokee ancestry, and Abraham Quintanilla Jr., a Mexican-American musician, she was their youngest child. Obstetrician-gynecologist Ron Paul, who will later be a member of the House of Representatives, was there when she was born. She was brought up as a Jehovah's Witness. When she was 6 years old, her father noticed that she was good at music. This is what he told People magazine. Her timing and pitch were perfect. From the start, I could see it. In 1980, he opened his first Tex-Mex restaurant in Lake Jackson, Papagayos. Selena and her siblings, Abraham III, bass guitar, and Suzette Quintanilla, drums, would often play there. After a year of bad business because of the oil glut of the 1980s, the restaurant had to close the next year. The family went through a hard time after that. After filing for bankruptcy, the family was kicked out of their home. After that, they chose to stay in Corpus Christi, Texas. It was her father, Quintanilla Jr., who took over as manager of the new band Selena y los Dinos and started advertising it. They played on street corners, at weddings, quinceañeras, and fairs to make money. As she became more well-known as a singer, the demands of her performances and travel plans started to get in the way of her schoolwork. When she was in the 8th grade, her father made the tough choice to pull her out of school. Marilyn Greer, her teacher, didn't like her plans to become a musician. She said she would tell the Texas Board of Education about her father because she thought Selena was being exposed to things that were not appropriate for a girl her age. He then told Greer to take care of herself. Concern was shown by other teachers when they saw how tired Selena looked when she got to school. You can get your high school diploma from the American School of Correspondence in Chicago when you are 17. You can also get into Louisiana State University. On top of that, she went to Pacific Western University and chose to major in business administration. She had a lot of problems with her education, but she was able to get a very good education in the end. Her career as a musician was just beginning. How did the Queen of Tejano begin? Getting ready to start, Quintanilla Jr. fixed up an old bus and named it Big Bertha. His family used it as a tour bus. The family had to keep going during the first few years of touring. They sang to make money for food and barely had enough to pay for petrol. Selena made her first LP record, Selena y los Dinos, for Freddie Records in 1984. Even though she preferred to record English-language songs, she also recorded Tejano music compositions. Tejano is a male-dominated Spanish-language genre with German influences from polka, jazz, and country music that was made popular by Mexicans living in the United States. In spite of what she wanted, Selena's father thought she should record songs that were connected to her heritage. Selena had to learn Spanish phonetically with the help of her father while the album was being recorded. Selena went on the popular Spanish-language radio show Johnny Canales in 1985 to promote her album. She did this for a few years and kept going on the show. Musician Rudy Trevino, who started the Tejano Music Awards, found Selena. She won the Female Vocalist of the Year award there in 1987 and for 9 years in a row after that. Texas music venues often turned the band down because of the singer's age and the fact that Selena was in charge. People who worked with Selena's father were always telling him that she would never be successful because she was a woman in a genre that has traditionally been dominated by men. It was hard for the family to make ends meet and find their place in the music world. Would things work out for the family in the end? Or would they keep struggling? The first time Selena performs. They saw Selena perform at the 1989 Tejano Music Awards. Jose Bejar from the new label EMI Latin Records and the new head of Sony Music Latin were there. Bejar was looking for new Latin artists and wanted to sign Selena to Capitol Records, which is owned by EMI. However, Sony Music Latin made Quintanilla Jr. an offer that was twice as much as Capitol's signing fee. Bejar thought he had found the next Gloria Estefan, but his boss told him he was crazy because he had only been in South Texas for a week. He didn't seem to know enough about the music business to make this choice, they thought. Because of the chance for a crossover album, Quintanilla Jr. chose EMI Latin's offer. He also wanted his children to be the first musicians to sign with the label. Before Selena started working on her first album, Bejar and Stephen Finfer asked her to make a crossover album. She recorded 3 songs in English for the people in charge of EMI's pop division. Their request for a crossover album was turned down, and Selena was told that she needed more fans to sell that kind of album. It seemed like EMI Records and the public didn't think a Mexican-American woman could have crossover appeal after Charles Koppelman turned down the project. On October 17, 1989, Selena released her first album, which was simply called Selena. A.B., her brother, became Selena's main record producer and songwriter for most of her career, though she did write some songs herself. Kyu Sakamoto recorded Sukiyaki for the first time in Japanese in the 1960s. Singer Selena used a Spanish version of the song that was written in English by Janice Marie Johnson. It was at number 7 on the US. It was her first album to debut on a national music chart when it reached number 1 on the Billboard Regional Mexican Albums chart. The album did better than other albums by female Tejano singers from the same time. In the same year, Coca-Cola asked Selena to be one of their Texas spokesmodels. Chris Perez, who had just joined Selena y Los Dinos as their new guitarist a few months before, wrote the jingle that was used in her first 2 commercials for the company. Even though Perez already had a girlfriend in San Antonio, he started to like Selena. After going to Mexico with the band, Perez thought it would be best for them to take a break from each other. However, he thought that was impossible and chose to try to get together with her instead. They told each other how they felt about each other at a Pizza Hut, and soon after, they started dating. Because they were afraid Quintanilla Jr. would try to break up Perez and Selena, they hid their relationship. It was reasonable for them to be afraid. People knew that Quintanilla Jr. would always look out for his family, and he would not let anything happen that could threaten the family business. What did he do when he heard the news? Lots of love to Selena. Chris Perez's book, To Selena with Love, says that he met the singer for the first time when he became the guitarist for the band Selena y Los Dinos in 1989. A.B. Quintanilla, Selena's brother, thought Perez was an excellent artist, but Selena's dad, Quintanilla Jr., wasn't sure if he could trust Perez's picture. Remember that Perez was a rock guitarist, and he looked like a rock guitarist. Her father was afraid that he would hurt Selena's otherwise good reputation, which would hurt her music career. Still, A.B. pushed for Perez to join the band, and in the end, Quintanilla Jr. gave in. According to Perez's book, it was Selena's sister, Suzette Quintanilla, who told Abraham about the secret love story going on right in front of him. When Quintanilla got angry, she told Perez to end the relationship, but he wouldn't. Instead, they kept dating in secret, like Romeo and Juliet. But when he found out, he told Selena that he would break up the group if she didn't get rid of Perez. Perez ran away, devastated. Her father fired him, and Perez ran away to his family. He kept in touch with Selena in secret as her fame grew. 13 years ago, Quintanilla Jr. said of Chris to Texas, "I saw him as a threat. What if they got married and he kicked her out of the band? We would lose all the work we did over those years." On CNN in 2012, Chris talked about Selena's father. "It kind of hurt his pride and his ego to find out that he was the last one to know," Chris said. "And when things got heated, he said things that hurt me. I didn't let it bother me though, because I knew he knew what kind of person I was." In 1992, on a terrible morning, Selena showed up at Perez's hotel door and demanded to see him. She told him she couldn't live without him, but she knew her dad would never let them get married or even be together. What to do? Running away. I thought, oh my God, we're doing this. What the heck are we doing? Oh my God. The next thing I knew, it was over, and we were named husband and wife, Perez said. love, and getting married. The two got married that same year, but they wanted to keep it a secret. The news spread quickly about their marriage. Her father was obviously upset that she had kept him in the dark, but he did accept Perez in the end. He became a part of the family after that. What else could I do? He talked to Texas Monthly. Selena and Perez moved in next door to the Quintanilla family. Selena and Perez felt deeply in love with each other, but their marriage wasn't perfect. In an interview with CNN, Perez said that they had fought and even thought about getting a divorce. "We were married and lived together 7 days a week. That was something we both had to learn how to deal with. It's not like I was against the idea when she brought it up. I was with her the whole time." After that, albums. In September 1990, Selena put out her second studio album, Ven Conmigo. There were 3 singles from Ven Conmigo. They are called La Vez, La Tracalera, and Baila Esta Cumbia. The second one, a Tejano cumbia song, was one of Selena's biggest hits. It became more popular in Mexico, where a compilation album with the same name as the single came out. It was certified platinum by the Asociación Mexicana de Productores de Fonogramas y Videogramas, which means it sold 150,000 copies. Yolanda Saldivar, a nurse and fan, asked Quintanilla Jr. to put together a fan club in San Antonio. She thought that after going to one of Selena's concerts, she could join a fan club. Saldivar's request was granted by Quintanilla Jr. He thought that the fan club would help the band get more attention. Soon after, she became good friends with Selena and her family. People trusted her, and in 1991, she took over as president of the fan club. In the same year, Alvaro Torres, a singer from El Salvador, wrote a duet that he wanted to record with Selena. Torres's 10th studio album, Nada se compara contigo, has the song Buenos Amigos on it. It was produced by Enrique Elizondo. Buenos Amigos was the #1 song in the US. Selena got her first #1 single on the Billboard Top Latin Songs chart. 2 Billboard Music Awards were given to Selena and Torres for the music video for the song in 1992. The song was also up for Duo of the Year at the Tejano Music Awards in 1992. In May 1992, Selena put out her 3rd studio album, Entre a mi Mundo. The album was called her breakthrough album by critics. The record got to #1 on the US The Billboard Regional Mexican Albums chart for 8 months in a row. A lot of important people in the music media were invited to a meet and greet conference with Selena during a border press tour in Monterrey, Mexico. People in Mexico looked down on Tejanos at the time and called them hayseed pochos. The singer didn't speak Spanish very well. EMI Latin executives were scared that the singer wouldn't be able to speak Spanish well enough at the album's press conference in Mexico. Petoskey says Selena played her cards right at the conference and won over the Mexican media after they called her an artist of the people. The newspapers liked her because she was different from the Mexican telenovela actors who were fair-skinned, blonde-haired, and green-eyed. After all the attention she got, Selena was booked to play at a number of concerts in Mexico, including one at the Festival Acapulco in May 1993, which got her great reviews. 70,000 people saw her perform in Nuevo León on September 17, 1993. This made her the biggest Tejano act in Mexico. 4 singles were taken from the album, Como la Flor, Que Crea, La Carcacha, and Amam. Selena's signature song was Como la Flor. Critics of the song said it was Selena's big break in the music business. The song Como la Flor helped Selena top the Latin music charts and become very popular in Mexico, where Mexican Americans were not liked by most people. Critics liked it. At the 1993 Tejano Music Awards, the song was up for Song of the Year. The song got as high as #6 on the US The Billboard Top Latin Songs chart. Between Me and My World was the 2nd best-selling regional Mexican album of all time in 1994. Selena put out Live. After a year, on February 7, 1993, at a free concert at the Memorial Coliseum in Corpus Christi, it was recorded. The album had songs that had already been released that were sung live, as well as 3 studio recordings, No Debe Jugar, La Llamada, and Tu Robaste Mi Corazón, a duet with Tejano musician Emilio Navarra. The songs No Debe Jugar and La Llamada made it to the top 5 on the US the Billboard Top Latin Songs chart. At the 36th Grammy Awards, Live won the award for Best Mexican and American Album. The star is now very good at music, so she chose to try her hand at some other things. How well did it work out for her when she went into other things? And Selena is a fashion icon. Selena opened her own beauty parlor. It was based in South Texas and was called Selena ETC. Selena ETC finished its building in Corpus Christi, Texas on January 27, 1994. It was the company's main office. Around the same time that the headquarters building was finished, Selena opened another store in San Antonio, Texas. Both had beauty salons inside them. Yolanda Saldivar, president of Selena's fan club, was one of the workers. She had been promoted to manager of her 2 boutiques and was also in charge of Selena's business checking accounts. Several employees went to Selena's father, Quintanilla Jr., and told him that they were behind on their payroll payments, which caused her to lose her job. After starting an investigation into this, Quintanilla was sure that Saldivar was stealing money. On March 9, 1995, Selena's father, herself, and her sister Suzette confronted family friend Saldivar and accused her of stealing money from the boutiques and the fan club. They fired Saldivar right away, but Selena kept in touch with her because she needed to get back some financial documents. Chris Perez, Selena's ex-husband, took over the business after she died. The store in San Antonio shut down sometime after 1999. When the Corpus Christi boutique's 16th anniversary came around, the store closed for good on July 1, 2009. Perez put a for sale sign in front of the building a week after the store closed. The Nueces County Appraisal District said that the combination of the land and building was worth $91,000. The price Perez was asking for the house was $165,000. There were Selena items and a full-service salon in the Selena ETC store. They sell hats, jewelry, and other small items as well. As soon as the building was taken back because of the bad economy, all of its goods and accessories started selling at the Selena Museum, which is a few miles away from where Selena ETC used to be. The death of Selena was shot and killed by Yolanda Saldivar, who used to run Selena's clothing stores and be president of her fan club. The New York Times says that during a meeting on March 2, 1995, Selena and her family said that Saldivar had stolen money from the singer's businesses. Saldivar bought a .38 caliber revolver and made plans to meet Selena at the end of the month at a Days Inn motel in Corpus Christi after she was fired. Saldivar shot Selena once in the lower right shoulder as she tried to leave the room, even though the reason they were there was to get financial records. Saldivar chased her with the gun as the singer ran towards the lobby of the motel. When Selena got to the front desk, it was almost noon. She yelled for help and then fell to the floor. The staff at the Days Inn called for an ambulance and tried to stop the bleeding while Saldivar went back to her room. According to witnesses, the singer knew who shot her and the number of her motel room before she passed out. Later, the Associated Press said that Selena's right shoulder, lung veins, and a major artery in her collarbone were hurt by the hollow point bullet. Heart surgeon Dr. Louis Elkins, who was supposed to operate on the artist, said that the artist was losing a lot of blood because of all of his injuries. When Selena got to the emergency room, she was already brain dead. The staff at the motel called for an ambulance, which got there in 1 minute and 55 seconds. Selena had stopped breathing by this time, so the paramedics did CPR on her. As they took her from the Days Inn motel to the Corpus Christi Memorial Hospital, they put pressure on the gauze to stop the bleeding. When the doctors got there, they tried to save her life by doing things like open heart massages and blood transfusions. According to the Associated Press, medical staff tried to get Selena's heart rate back to normal, but she showed no signs of neurological function because she was bleeding so much inside. The singer of Beatty Bomb was pronounced dead at 1:15 p.m. after being sick for about an hour. Selena died when she was 23 years old. The artist's birthday was April 16th, which was 2 weeks away. The desk clerk at the Days Inn later told the Los Angeles Times that Selena was screaming, "Help me!" as she walked from the room where Saldivar shot her to the lobby while leaving a trail of blood behind her. "Please help me! I got shot!" Selena fell down in the lobby and yelled at the staff, "Lock the door! She's going to shoot me again!" In her last words, she told the motel manager who called an ambulance that Saldivar was the person who shot her and named the room where he was staying. Oh, Yolanda, 158. Not long after that, Saldivar was caught in a police standoff while in a pickup truck in the motel parking lot. After more than 9 hours, she turned herself in to the police and the FBI, but she said the shooting was an accident. Saldivar was charged with murder in the first degree and chose to not plead guilty. The jury found her guilty on October 23, 1995, and the New York Times reports that she was given a life sentence without the chance of parole for 30 years. She is currently serving her time at the Patrick O'Daniel Unit, which used to be called the Mountain View Unit in Gatesville, Texas. On March 30th, 2025, she will be able to apply for parole. People are sad about the death of an icon. Selena's death was very sad for her family, friends, and fans. In Texas and California, where she was most famous, there were vigils and memorials. The New York Times says that Selena's family let people see her body before her funeral at the Bayfront Plaza Convention Center. Fans had brought bouquets of white roses for her, and as tens of thousands of people came to pay their respects, her dad, Quintanilla Jr., thanked them for coming. Selena was buried at Seaside Memorial Park on April 3, 1995, not long after. Chris, her husband, was seen during the ceremony. Afterward, family, friends, and fans laid white roses on her casket to say goodbye. At her grave, there is a bronze statue of the singer and her words. A memorial to Selena opened on May 25, 1997, just a few miles from where she was buried. Its name, Mirador de la Flor, means "look out of the flower," and it has a design of white roses and a life-size bronze statue of the singer leaning against a central column and looking out over Corpus Christi Bay. Selena was broken up before she could finish Dreaming of You, her first album in both Spanish and English. It came out after the singer had died on July 18, 1995, and went straight to #1 on the Billboard 200 chart. For 49 weeks, the album stayed in the top 200. After 3 years, Selena fans could start going to the museum, which has her famous wardrobe, many awards, and other memorabilia, like her family's tour bus. In November 2017, after her death, Selena was given a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Over 4,500 fans came to see her, and former Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti made November 3rd Selena Day in the city. Selena's sister Suzette got it for her, and her mom, dad, brother, and husband all posed for a picture at the event. Selena was also given the Recording Academy's Lifetime Achievement Award after her death at the 63rd Grammy Awards in March 2021. Before the show, her father, Quintanilla Jr., told people that his daughter would have been thrilled about the honor, just like she was when she won her Grammy in 1994. Who is Salvador? As was already said, the Tejano superstar was shot and killed by Yolanda Saldivar, who was president of the singer's fan club. She would have been 24 years old in 2 weeks. In the years since Selena's death, her family has kept her memory alive, but Saldivar, who killed her, has rarely spoken in public until now. In the new Oxygen true crime docuseries Selena and Yolanda, The Secrets Between Them, Saldivar talks about the murder of the Grammy winner, which happened almost 30 years ago. In the years before she met Selena, Saldivar was a registered nurse. She was born on September 19, 1960, in San Antonio, Texas. She is said to have called Abraham Quintanilla Jr., Selena's father, about starting a fan club after seeing the singer perform. Saldivar got to know Selena via the fan club, where she was president, and became close friends with her and worked with her on business deals. She eventually got promoted to manager of Selena's clothing stores, Selena, etc., which gave her access to Selena's business bank accounts. People who know Selena say that Saldivar started to act obsessively. Martin Gomez, Selena's fashion designer, told the Washington Post that Saldivar was hard to work with most of the time. Gomez told the magazine she'd get really mad if you crossed her. He said she would play a lot of mind games and say people said things they hadn't said. A lot of things would happen to the clothes I was making. I was sure I was done with a certain piece. But when I got back from New York, the hems were torn off. It was very strange. As Gomez remembered, on our last call together, I told her to be careful. It was really strange. I was scared of Yolanda, but I didn't think she would hurt Selena. This is something I never thought would happen. In the years since Selena's death, Saldivar has only done a few interviews. She told ABC's 2020 on 1995, "They made me out to be a monster, and I just want to say I did not end Selena," to defend herself against accusations that she killed Selena. It was an accident, and I don't feel bad about it. Trial and conviction. The Latino community in the United States paid close attention to Saldivar's trial for killing Selena. The trial wasn't shown on TV, but cameras were allowed inside the courthouse. The trial was moved to Houston, Texas, because Saldivar's lawyers were able to prove that she could not get a fair trial in Selena's hometown. CNN said before the trial that prosecutors were going to show a controversial police confession that Saldivar signed in, which she said she shot Selena during a fight over Selena's father's claims that Saldivar stole money from Selena's accounts. Robert Garza, a Texas Ranger, was supposed to testify for the defense that he heard Saldivar say that the shooting was an accident and that she complained when police didn't include that in her statement. The defense lawyer said the shooting happened by accident, but the prosecution said Saldivar, who is a trained nurse, didn't call 911 or try to help Selena after she was shot. On October 23, 1995, Saldivar was found guilty of murder after less than 3 hours of deliberation. 3 days later, on October 26th, she was given a life sentence with the chance of getting out after 30 years. At that time, this was the longest sentence that could be given in Texas. The gun that was used to kill Selena was not found after the trial. Later, it was found at the home of court reporter Sandra Obel in a box of office supplies. Obel has said she didn't know she had the gun. Some historical groups didn't want it to be taken apart, but it was, and the pieces were thrown into Corpus Christi Bay in the 2002 S. In order to challenge her conviction, Saldivar has asked the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals to hear her case. She says the petition was turned in to the 214th District Court in 2000, but it was never sent to the higher court. It was March 31, 2008, 13 years after Selena's death, when her request was received. Selena's music is still being played today. The Queen of Tejano is still one of the most important Latino artists of all time, and artists and Latinos all over the world look up to her. Thanks for seeing. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Also, click on the video on your screen to watch another one of our fun videos.